Welcome to the Friction Podcast. My name is Bobby Friction, and you're about to hear the highlights of a week on a late night show broadcast on the BBC Asia network, funnily enough, called Friction.
The ladies call me Electric Man, 'cause when I plug your socket, baby, I'ma charge you like nobody can. Electric, it's the dance electric, the trance eclectic, romance perfected, indigo reflected, hypnotize you from my perspective. I have to guide you, it's the electricity that must define me. So many in the room.
You're listening to Future Friction. Keeping it unsigned and underground. Friction. Future music now.
The future friction part of all of this is so important. It's because once we've filtered through all of that stuff and all those MP3s, a pattern emerges. We can usually look down and say, you know what, this person has got what it takes. This person, in a perfect world, should be signed. This person should have a record deal. And that's exactly why we have a Future Friction artist or artists every week. And that's exactly why we have a new Future Friction for this week. His name is S-Endz. You may have heard that name before, either from other presenters on radio or actually listening to stuff from Swami the band, from Desi Rock to all the stuff that's come out on the new album Equalize as well. He hails from Birmingham. He's a British Asian rapper, vocalist, producer, and he's sitting right in front of me right now. So S-Endz, to people out there, who is S-Endz? Who is Turi? Because I was calling you Turi, and I wasn't sure how to say it. I was going Turi. And, who are you, bruv? Who are you?
I am a vocalist and producer. I make a lot of kinds of music. I don't want to limit myself to any kind of music, so I make it all. And people might know me because I'm the vocalist in the band Swami, like you said. They might know the tracks Desi Rock, Electro Juggany, stuff like that. And I'm doing my solo project as well. Turi is the alias, stands for True Understanding Reaches Individuals. But yeah, I'm working on my solo project right now. I'm producing a lot of it myself. Obviously Diamond, DJ Swami is going to produce some of it. Subs, my other cousin, is going to do some of it. I've been working on some stuff with Fusing Naked Beats as well.
Is it one of your cousins Apache India as well?
Yes, Apache is also my first cousin. And
oh my god.
Kind of when I was a little kid, I just remember being in the studio while he was doing like Chuck Dare and Movie Over India and stuff like that, and it's an early memory.
A lot of our listeners will only have heard of your solo project because we started playing a track called Electric Man. I love it. It sounds like Prince on helium via some electrolysis and then a nice Frankenstein's monster breaking bits of the beats in between. But for our listeners who haven't heard you before, how would you describe your music outside of Swami and all these other projects?
Eclectic is probably the best word to describe it, because I don't want people to think, okay, that's S-Endz, he's going to come out with some hip-hop stuff or he's going to come out with some Desi stuff. I want to throw them for a loop with every track that I come out with and not be confined to any one genre or style in particular.
You're a big Prince fan?
Definitely.
Just like myself. Was that something you did on purpose? Did you literally go, I like Prince, so I will sound a bit like Prince? No. Or is that what's just happened because you like Prince so much?
Really, when you think about stuff too much and you try and make music that sounds like your idols, it tends to come out very contrived. So I've never sat down and listened to some artists and think, okay, I want to make something that sounds like that. But I guess when I sit down in front of some equipment and some gear and I try and make something, my influences will shine through just like any good artist. I mean, you listen to Prince, you can tell he listened to James Brown and Sly Stone. And I guess when you listen to me, I'd like people to think that, okay, you can hear a bit of Prince, maybe a bit of Nine Inch Nails, a bit of Tupac, a bit of Zapp, stuff like that, and finished off with my own style.
What's coming out at the moment, especially the Bhangra industry, even the left field Asian industry, has gone a bit stale in the sense that someone can go, alright, I'll get a drum and bass track and put something Asian on top of it, etc, etc. So how do you actually see the British Asian musical industry at the moment?
Well, I think it's going through a lot of changes, and there's people kind of struggling to figure out their place, and as a result of that, you get a lot of, like you said, music by numbers and people just making these generic kind of tracks. And especially with Bhangra music, being a part of Swami, I've seen a lot of that, and people say, oh, why don't you do something that's really Desi? And Diamond's reply is always like, well, I don't make wedding music. And it's like, I kind of see, for a lot of people, the music they make does sound like that's all they do, and a lot of them probably do.
Are we in a healthy place, or aren't we?
I think it's better than where it was, say, maybe a year ago. I like some of the stuff that Zeus was coming out with on his album, some of the stuff that Specialists and True School have been doing as well. I think we're kind of all helping to shift in a new age of Desi music.
You know, we used to have this thing on our show called What Goes on Tour Stays on Tour.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, just tell us something really spicy and a bit freaky from when you were on tour with Swami.
Okay, well, we were in France and we were playing this big festival. This was back when we were still working with a guy called Jags from DSI. And as anyone who's ever met him or heard his music might know, he's a pretty Desi kind of guy. So obviously after the gig, he'd nicked about 4 or 5 bottles of whiskey from the rider backstage, and we'd taken him back to the hotel room. And over the course of about 3 hours, I ended up having about 1.5 bottles to myself, which is like probably more than I'd ever drunk before in my life. And didn't remember anything after that. So the next day we're heading back on the airplane, and the sound engineer, who I was sharing a room with at the time, goes to Diamond. He goes, "Oh, your cousin's a bit weird, isn't he?" And my cousin's like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, he stumbled back into the room about 4 a.m. and urinated all over the hotel door." Didn't remember a thing. I was young.
Do you know, I've got a story just like that.
Oh,
that
yeah?
includes the head of music here at the BBC Asian Network. But I can't do it. I'll
giving it
lose
away
my
now.
job. I'll lose my job. Thank you so much, S-Endz, for coming
No
in
problem,
today.
Bobby. Thanks for having me here.
If you need to find out about him, you can either go to his website, which is...
It's myspace.com/tourimusic or tourimusic.com.
She's like my shadow. She gets you locked in the groove. She's like my shadow. Watch her burn it up on the floor. She's like my shadow. Come on, girl, give me some more.
Folks used to tell me there ain't none iller, but when I look at her, it's like looking in the mirror. Let me break it down so you can see. She's just like a female version of me. Oh, can this be true? Can she rock the house just like I do? Supercharged, yeah, shot.